Okay, draft policy 2018-1, allow interregional ASN transfers. The Shepherds, Allison Wood and Chris Tassett. Allison, come on up.
Good morning. Again, my name is Allison Wood. I'm on the Advisory Council, and this is Draft Policy 2018-1. I'm not going to read all of the slides, but I am going to read the problem statement. So 2018-1 deals with inter-RIR transfers of ASNs, and there are circumstances for the necessity of RIR transfers of ASNs with RIRs with an equivalent transfer policy. These needs include regional RIRs that are no longer issuing 16-bit ASNs, leading to the need to purchase on the transfer market if an organization requires one, customers that transfer their IP address space to a reciprocal RIR without the ability to transfer their ASN, and the technical limitations on 32-bit ASNs. Great. So what we'd like to do is change the current text to include transfers of ASNs with the text that says that we could transfer IPv4 number resources. So points of discussion, I have 5 points of discussion, and I'm sure there'll be more at the microphone. So we'll start with a real-world possibility. So a company that relocates their headquarters to Europe in the RIPE region, transferring all of their IP address space. Today, this company is required to maintain an ARIN account to house their one or however many ASNs that they have. They don't want to change their ASN, and they don't want to remain an ARIN customer, but today they don't have the option because you cannot transfer your ASN from one RIR to, or from the ARIN region to another RIR. All right, so the technical issues. So we have 2-byte ASNs, and we have 4-byte ASNs. And RFC 1997 came out and allowed BGP communities to shape traffic or to engineer traffic. RFC 1997 only supports 2-byte ASNs, and as the free pool of 2-byte ASNs began to shrink, then the community decided that they needed to come up with new solutions. So we had 4-byte ASNs to utilize BGP community attributes. February 2017, we had RFC 8092, and that incorporated large BGP communities, and that became their protocol standard for defining 4-byte ASNs. So we have working code that exists for some equipment and software. This works with 2-byte ASNs universally, not always with 4-byte ASNs. So this proposal addresses the problem by allowing registrants of an unused or unwanted 2-byte ASN to transfer the registration to a network operator who needs one, all within the existing and community agreed upon framework of inter-RIR transfers, meaning that if it's reciprocal between the ARIN region and either RIPE or APNIC, the other two regions that allow for ASN transfers. So one question that came up is, would the community prefer to limit this policy to incorporate only 2-byte ASNs? So today, the way 2-byte ASNs were assigned is in a non-contiguous block. So 2-byte ASNs were kind of assigned all over the board. 4-byte ASNs were assigned by IANA in blocks to the different RIRs. So hopefully that's something that you guys the community could bring forward when you come to the mics and talk about the difference that you feel between 2-byte and 4-byte ASN transfers, if any. RPKI implications. So this policy's come up twice before in the ARIN region. And one of the reasons why it did not pass was because of RPKI implications, issues with RPKI. Those issues do not exist today. So the RPKI trust anchor contains all AS numbers, making RPKI a non-issue with inter-RIR ASN transfers. The last sentence here, though, is somewhat important. However, inter-RAR transfers of AS numbers would greatly complicate any future implementation of an RPKI global trust anchor if that were to ever occur. ARIN implications. So, good news here. During the previous assessment, transfers were not fully automated within ARIN's registry system, but that's changed. And ARIN systems now conduct transfers via ARIN Online, which you guys are all familiar with. And the automated processes will need to be modified, but with an easy effort of 1 to 2 months' work by ARIN staff. All right, so APNIC and RIPE NCC have approved inter-RAR transfers. No transfers have taken place to this point. And just to go over the different policies with APNIC, APNIC will recognize inter-RAR IPv4 address and ASN transfers only when the counterpart RAR has an inter-RAR transfer policy that permits the transfer of those resources. So reciprocal policies. And right now it's only APNIC. And RIPE policy, again, says that IPv4 addresses and AS numbers can be transferred to and from the APNIC service region. All right, IANA. The RARs and IANA are discussing how the top-level ASN registry should be updated and cleaned up so that future RAR ASN transfers are referred to the appropriate RAR and the additional redirects are done as needed. All right, so again, to state that 2-byte ASNs then were just assigned, and 4-byte ASNs were sent in contiguous blocks to the different RARs. The NRO EC is working with IANA and the public technical identifiers to ensure that a single ASN has moved from one RAR's administration to another, and it shouldn't have to be reflected at the IANA level. Right? So what they're saying is if the community wants this to be done, technically this is possible to do. All right, so questions, and my question that I would like to pose to the community is, would you like to see ASN transferred from one RAR to another, knowing that technically a lot of these problems that came up in the past have now been solved?
Paul will moderate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't run away, though.
I won't worry.
The microphones are open, so for those that are new to our process, if you can hear the sound of my voice, either in this room or on remote, and you have opinions, thoughts, comments, suggestions, gripes, or even just, I think this is a good idea or I think this is a terrible idea, please approach a microphone, virtually or not, and be heard. Rear microphone.
Is this, yes, it is working.
This one is on.
Hi, Chris Woodfield, Salesforce, ARIN-AC. I support the policy, and yes, this is a kind of a tall mic, so forgive the chin up. I think I think there was some discussion around the actual need for internet operators to use 16-bit ASNs versus 32-bit. It's not just about large communities, even though large communities are an issue. The RFC is only a year old. There is a thankfully decreasing but still substantial number of network devices on the internet that will never support 32-bit ASNs. Hardware that isn't getting software updates, and equipment doesn't leave the internet as soon as it's irrelevant. It's up to the operator's budget to fund hardware upgrades and whatnot. So as such, I support mechanisms that allow needed resources to go where they need to go.
Thank you for your, feedback. Next speaker.
Mike Burns, IP Trading. I support the policy. I'm the author, and I'd like to thank the Shepherds. Did a great job. I don't think we should restrict this to just 2-byte ASNs. I don't really see the point in that. There are applications for companies who do want to keep their network blocks associated with their ASNs. Since we have a regional trading group, which is AP, RIPE, and ARIN in terms of address blocks, it seems to me only logical to facilitate transfers of ASNs as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Sean Stewart with VeriSign. I fully support this for 2-byte, 4-byte ASNs, and would even like to see it extend to IPv6 at some point. figure numbers are numbers, let them go where they're needed.
Thank you. In favor? Front microphone.
Owen DeLong, ARIN-AC. I'm still opposed to the policy. It's 2018. The problems for 2-byte ASNs have been mostly solved at this point. They're going to be solved relatively soon, probably by the time this policy gets implemented on a much wider basis. And I don't see the necessity to continue to foster the 2-byte ASN limitations. It's time to move on. Then again, I've felt that way about V6 for a long time, and look where we are now. The pain, it continues.
So there's no change that would make you supportive, obviously, then?
There is not a change that would make me support it. If we are going to do it, I don't see any reason to do it just for 2-byte AS numbers. I certainly would not support ever expanding this under any current or foreseeable circumstances to include IPv6 numbers. The reason we originally permitted IPv4 transfers between RIRs was the preponderance of available legacy resources that were underutilized in the ARIN region, largely for export. That is most of what the IPv4 inter-RIR transfer policy has been used for, from my understanding of the statistics, and it doesn't seem unreasonable to me for us to have done that. But further scope creep strikes me as a step away from goodness. Thank you.
Thank you. There will not be, by the way, a poll on this question as per the AC chair, so if you want to express a view, even just say in favor or against, you need not say anything more. Please approach a microphone because I'm rapidly running out of speakers. Rear microphone.
Kevin Bloomberg, The Wire. I support the policy as written. We've had a policy in place since July 2012 allowing it in our region. It's kind of hard to come up here and say, no, we don't need it elsewhere, but we need it here. The policy has been used in our region. It has had validity. So I don't see a differentiation in that regard. I was on the side of there is a difference between 2-byte and 4-byte. 2-byte is scarce, 4-byte is not. And I reviewed it and talked with a number of people. At this point, I am absolutely fine with it just saying AS numbers. It's a complexity that does not need to be there. And more importantly, the fact that you were able to show brand new RFCs that are trying to still address the 2-bytes issue from a technical point of view. While modern equipment deals with this problem in many cases, it does not deal with it in all. And that is assuming that a company is running modern equipment. In many cases they're not, and it is not being addressed. As a board member of an internet exchange operator, I can say that 4-byte is a consistent problem that we see. It is just a reality. And while I would love for it to be solved, I don't see it being solved in our lifetime.
Thank you. I am going to have to close the microphone soon, not because of time constraints. We just, again, are running out of speakers. So if you wish to speak, please try and get to a microphone or start typing before the end of our next speaker. Front microphone.
Hi, I'm Kathy Aronson. I worked on this a little bit with Allison, super fun. The thing that I found most curious about this, I support this policy, by the way. The thing I found the most curious about this is that even if it's an M&A transfer, so say a European country buys a US company and they move the headquarters to Europe and it's an M&A, ARIN still won't transfer the ASN to that company even with an M&A transfer. And I don't see why somebody should be forced to change their ASN or maintain a registry in a region that they don't have a business presence anymore. So I'm really extra in favor of this once I learned that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Last call for comments. Do we have anything for remote participation? No. Nobody's approaching a mic. If I don't see someone approaching a microphone in the next 3 seconds, we will close the microphones. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Microphones are closed. This ends this discussion. Thank you to Allison for the presentation.
Thank you.
And I will now slowly move to the
Very nice.